Hey guys, it's Sasha Darkness back again with another episode of Daily Darkness. Like I said, today you're going to have more than one episode. If you haven't watched episode 14.0 yet, go ahead and give that a watch. I would like you all to share it too. That way it gets out there. I would love for episode 14.0 to go viral and for First Data, Wells Fargo, and Hard Times Cafe to get a good jolt to their own medicine. Because that may even teach them a little bit of a lesson, might learn something. Anyways, I'm back with some questions. I had a few questions the other day that people wanted to ask. And by the way, you all can ask questions. You guys can ask questions through the YouTube, because I do post these on YouTube. Posting them basically in the comments on YouTube. Remember to like my channel, share it, subscribe. That's youtube.com/C/Sasha the Princess of Darkness, or just go to YouTube and search for Sasha the Princess of Darkness. I'm also on Twitter. It's K Sasha Mowen. So definitely go there. And you can find me, of course, on Facebook. I got a couple different pages there. Just search for Sasha the Princess of Darkness, the Fallout Shelter Chambersburg, and of course the Saturday Morning Serial Killers, as well as the Podcast of Darkness. Speaking of which, I will get back into podcasting here very soon. But the big takeaway with this is please share episode 14.0. I want to see that thing blow up. I want it to get more views because it needs attention. Because all these people talking about it's not fair that there's not, a Caucasian History Month, and it's not fair that there's not a heterosexual Pride Day. They definitely need to see more of that. So share 14.1. But if you do want to basically ask a question, again, leave comments below, either on YouTube, here on Facebook. But I encourage everybody to use the hashtag. I have a new hashtag, which is hashtag, which is the little pound sign, ask with capital A, Sasha Dark. The first letters are all capitalized, all one word, ask Sasha Dark. So that's AskSashaDark. I'll have the hashtag in the comments here later, as well as in the video tag at some point. So again, just hashtag it and I'll answer away. So speaking of the questions today, we've got 3. Jen Harding, I'm going to wait to save yours for the end because, honey, I love you, but you asked a whole damn paragraph. So I have to sum that up in the transgender medicine, but we'll get to that shortly. I'm going to start with Anna DeSelle's question that she had earlier. And by the way, thank you for the compliment on the choker. But Anna had asked me basically about the whole tucking conversation that we had yesterday. Does it hurt? Well, this is something I always want to tell everybody. Anything that I do or anything of that nature, I try not to go into too much detail with, because I don't want somebody trying it and hurting themselves. Like same with the hormone thing, where I only showed you guys like the one hormone that I take. I don't want somebody trying to mimic my dosages or mimic anything of that nature and hurting themselves. Same way with tucking. That's why I kind of gave you a general overview without a hands-on demonstration. Don't get excited, ladies and gents. I'm not giving you a hands-on demonstration. I got to really know you and love you to do that. But the thing of it is with tucking, I always tell people, if you're going to do it, experiment, because it can hurt, especially if you do it wrong. I sat down hard on a bar stool once and then spent over an hour trying to get my testicles back out of the cavity that they're normally in, and that was a very unpleasant experience. I threw up like 3 times. So I always tell people, be careful. I always say, know your limits. Do it when you're laying down, before you get your clothes on, things of that nature. Lay down in bed, push them up into the cavity. If it starts to hurt, you start to feel a severe sharp pain, you feel like you're going to throw up, stop. If it feels uncomfortable, stop. Everything takes time and takes practice. Don't try to do it all at once, because granted, yes, if you're transgender like me, the end goal is to eventually, get rid of your testicles, but usually with surgery and stuff, there's Novocaine and all kinds of stuff to get rid of that pain. So don't put yourself in that situation where you're trying to tuck and, hold the old, hide the old huevos and all of a sudden rupture something and cause damage. So that's why I always, very, very general. But I say, if you're going to do it, lay down, practice. Practice makes perfect. With most guys, you can take your hands. You can feel where the cavities are, where the testicles descended from when you were a child. You can slowly try to work your testicles back up in there. Don't force, don't push, don't shove. It can be very painful and very nasty. Speaking as somebody who so anyway, it can hurt. Yes, it's just something that, hey, learn how to do it. Be careful. If it starts to hurt, stop. Okay? Everything takes time. Me, like I said, I can go 24, 48 hours. I don't recommend people doing that. Not on the first go. Learn your tolerances. Okay? So, Anna, that's the answer to your question about tucking. Jesse, you had asked me something, and this is Jesse Merriman. Jesse, you had asked me about host Sven Guli. I remember him. And he was one of the first horror hosts that were out there, like a early Elvira, early Vampira, things of that nature. Other stuff was influential, things of that nature. So I do appreciate him. And he was unique. He was the black and white era of horror hosts. And granted, yes, you've had Son of Sven Guli, and I think a couple other people have taken the title now. I'm very familiar with pretty much all of the horror hosts. I mean, there's a few that were kind of pretty obscure in certain locations. There's even a few modern versions of us still running around, but we're not all over the place. So yes, Sven Guli, I'm very aware of him. I do feel he's very influential as one of the earlier horror hosts. So yes, definitely aware. Now he also asked Jesse had asked one like a side note, would I ever consider hosting movies on TV like that? TV is kind of a weird, obscure thing, and let's face it, like the horror hosts didn't last long. It was kind of a niche kind of thing. I mean, I remember when Monster Vision was like a weekly event. Well, that was on TNT. Same way with Elvira. It was a different episode each week, a different movie, a whole 9 yards. I don't know if we can do that nowadays. I mean, granted, yes, there is a large, population of people that are into it, things of that nature, and that's why I kind of do what I do on the internet. I wouldn't mind expanding to maybe like a Roku channel, but there's a lot of like copyright laws and things of that nature that kind of keep you from, showing a whole lot, and there's just some things you don't want to get your fingers smacked over with. I mean, if somebody came to me, like if El Rey knocked on my door and said, hey, we want you to host late night shitty horror movies, shoot, pack my bags, I'll be in Texas tomorrow. But I don't foresee like a future resurgence. I would love to do it, but I don't foresee that happening. So that's why I kind of stay doing the reviews via YouTube, kind of bringing back the horror host flair, things of that nature. Now, granted, as many may or may not know, on the rare occasion I can, get hired out to do like a party. Like if you want to watch a movie outdoors, or with friends and family, or just want to have me come over and make fun of a few movies with you. Hey, I'll take that as a paying gig any day of the week. Feed me, pay me, give me a good drink, I'll be there. And I've done that before. So I do kind of that, have a resurgent, but I don't foresee that. So the final questions that I got today were from Jen Harding. She asked a lot of really good, really technical questions when it comes to transgender medicine and transgender healthcare. So basically, one of her big questions was about the surgery and the cost of the surgery. All depends on what you get, and all depends on what your situation is. I've heard on the low end, and depending on where you can go, you're looking at around $10,000 to about $20,000, depending on the situation. Some insurance carriers will help cover some of it. I just right now, being unemployed and uninsured at the moment, I just don't foresee basically affording that anytime in the near future. And even with insurance, I mean, they'll cover a little bit, but keep in mind, you always have that upfront out-of-pocket expense before they kick in and pay anything back. So it's kind of a catch-22 there. But like I said, you got to have, depending on, how the hormones work for me, if my breasts grow out, great. But then you got to figure if they don't, I got to have breast surgery, which could be a cosmetic surgery. I've got to have the vaginoplasty, things of that nature. There's some things I'd love to get rid of, like having my trachea shaved to get rid of the Adam's apple and things of that nature. And none of that's cheap. Then you got electrolysis, because I hate to say it, this is why I look like hell on certain days that I don't get up early and do my makeup or my hair and things of that nature. Because, my shaving, I shave at least once every other day. And even on that day off when I'm not shaving, it's horrible. Just go in and get the electrolysis. But again, you're looking at expense. And keep in mind, electrolysis isn't a one-time deal. Sometimes you got to go back in for repeat treatments. It's not, you go in and you're done. Not only that, but, I've seen people who've had electrolysis, nothing against you all, but the day after, you guys look like it's rough, and it looks like it's painful because your skin's all red, inflamed, swollen, looks like you have bad sunburn, looks like you're like just a shade away from being the next Freddy Krueger. Not my cup of tea. I don't like looking that hideous just for future remedy of getting rid of it. But at some point, yeah, I will definitely consider it. And with hormones, she asked basically like the medical question. There's going to be some people who simply can't take testosterone, who simply can't take estrogen because it can cause changes in your body that could be detrimental to certain like health issues or pre-existing issues. Again, kind of going back to what I said earlier about not going into details about my treatment and things of that nature, because I don't want somebody to go home and, find somebody from the Philippines that sends hormones out for free. Not saying I haven't done that, but the thing of it is that I don't recommend it. I don't want somebody taking any advice that I've given and hurting themselves. So I don't really go into a whole lot of detail. I always say, hey, if you're considering something like that, talk to your doctor, talk to psychologists, and make sure you're ready for it. That's why they have all that stuff in place. It's like with any medication, before you take it, consult your doctor, make sure it's going to be okay with any pre-existing condition that you have. Because granted, yes, hormones are going to cause some interesting changes in your body. It's kind of a second puberty. And if you have pre-existing issues, it could cause problems with that. So yes, it is definitely something of that nature. Now, I can't tell you all the risks and things of that nature because I'm not a doctor. I have a very basic understanding of medicine. I'm a WebMD junkie. That's kind of like why my doctors hate me at the moment. But, when you're broken and insured, sometimes you do things you probably shouldn't. The other questions that she asked is about counseling and therapy. Yes, you do have to go through extensive counseling and therapy before they allow you to transition. Now, that's if you transition in the United States. Again, I'm not recommending somebody go out of the country to do it, because there are places you could go through the Philippines and just have it done. You could go to Canada. They're not going to ask you, 20 million questions or make you feel like you're a bug on the fucking wall. The thing of it is that, those rules are in place. I personally don't like them because I've heard of situations where in your head that this is going to be permanent. Like, it's like going in and getting a tattoo. I mean, granted, yes, you can have tattoos and stuff reversed nowadays, but this is a serious change, and as a grown adult, I hate when it's constantly questioning me. It's driving me up the wall. I'm even, if I suddenly wound up with, a good $10,000 or $20,000 magically in my pocket, I'd probably go to Canada and the Philippines. I don't recommend that people do that, but I get why. Because, here, I'm going to be frank, I usually don't like to discuss this with anybody, but I'm 37. I'm not getting any younger. Uh, I just can't see me waiting another 5 or 7 years to be the person I should have been since day one. I've already waited this time, why wait longer? But I get why things are in place. Because there are people who are not as confident as I am that this is what they want, and they could wind up really hurting themselves and making the wrong decision. So I get that. Not a fan of it, but I get it. The other question that she asked is, can you eventually have a menstrual cycle or a period? Now, granted, it wouldn't be like the same as, a typical female's, period or things of that nature. But I do have days where my hormones do flush, things of that nature. I, you know, I get cramps. I do have problems of that nature, but I'm not going to have all the same sort of side effects that, a biological, I hate using that word, but a biological woman would have. Um, so, I mean, granted, yes, we're going to get some of the symptoms, cramps, moodiness, the usual. Thankfully, I've got more than enough painkillers to kill a horse, so yay. But the fact of the matter of it is that yes, but we're not going to have the same experience that a cisgender woman would in that situation. As you can imagine, we're not going to have to run out and buy maxis and tampons and the rest, but we are going to get the painful days where everything hurts and everybody fucking sucks. And given society lately, that's pretty much my mood 90% of the time, any goddamn way. But the thing of it is yes, we can get the symptoms. There's been extensive articles written on it, and I tell you my experiences all day long, but I always tell everybody, hey, educate yourselves. Go out on the net, watch me on the Now, learn something. So again, that's my Daily Darkness moment. I will be back on again later. I want to thank for the moment, though, Jen Harding, Anna DeSalle, and Jesse Merriman for your questions. Again, keep it up, guys. If you want to ask a question, hashtag Ask Sasha Dark. That's AskSashaDark. And all the first letters capitalized, all ran together with the hashtag. So again, just send me a message and we'll get on to it. I'll probably do another one of these after I get my son, or maybe when I see my mom when she shows up with the dog and things of that nature, because I know you guys like cute animals. Anyways, I love y'all. Sorry I was kind of pissed off earlier, but dealing with a lot of fucking trolls over Heterosexual Pride Day, it gets old. Please understand. And please share episode 14.0 because it needs to get out there. Love you guys. Talk to you again in a bit.